What's up, everyone? I'm Raina.
And I'm Phil.
And welcome back to 1 Minute Board Games. Today we are going to be answering the question:
if you could only own 5 board games, which games would they be?
So this video idea was actually by Phil, and why don't you talk more about where you got this idea from?
Sure, so it's not really my idea or anything. I have seen it on I've seen it a couple times on some subreddits. Well, not some subreddits, mainly the board game subreddit. And I've always thought it's a really interesting question. Like, how would you form this 5 game collection?
Mm-hmm.
You know, would you want to choose, your top 5 games? Is that really what 5 games you want to choose, or do you want more of an all-encompassing, you will be most satisfied if you have these 5 games?
Mm-hmm. So speaking of criteria, why don't we talk about the criteria that we use for selecting our 5 games?
Yep.
Because we came up with our list and we haven't talked about them. We kind of let a few things slip here and there, but other than that, we have no idea what the other person is going to say, have no idea what criteria that we used. So I think it'd be fun to go into that first.
Okay. So one of the criteria is that it is only going to be the base game. So there won't be any expansions. So you can't choose Dominion because it has 12 expansions,
A little bit of cheating.
Yeah. So we have limited ourselves to just the base game for our picks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the criteria that I use for picking out my 5 games is, for the most part, they are games that I would always be down to play, which I think is pretty important because I'm honestly not in the mood to play a lot of games a lot of the time. I also tried to include a little bit of diversity in there because I could honestly play tile-laying games all the time, but my list is not 5 tile-laying games, okay?
I thought maybe she would have 5 tile-laying games.
So that was kind of the base criteria that I used for picking out my list because it was super hard.
Mm-hmm. So my list kind of consists of, I want to say mechanically speaking, there would be, a wide variety of mechanics, but maybe not. I don't really remember.
Yeah, it was, you just blacked out after you chose your
Kind of.
list.
It was such a hard list to come up with. We have, almost 200 games, and you're going to tell me to only pick 5 of them to have as my collection? That's really hard.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually took a while to pick out his list. So I'm really excited to see what you chose.
Yep.
Alright, so for fun, we did try to guess what each other's lists are, but we are going to check in at the end of the video to see if we match up with any of those or not.
Yeah, to see how many we actually correctly got.
Yeah, so without further ado, we are going to start with number 5. And my number 5 game is actually going to be War of the Ring.
Oh my goodness!
You look surprised!
A little bit!
Yeah!
War of the Ring.
So, War of the Ring is an epic 1v1 game. It is, the free people versus the
shadow player.
The shadow player. And it's super intense. It can be compared to Star Wars Rebellion, but I do like it a lot more. I think it's a lot less cat and mouse and a bit more 1v1, heading toward each other. Mm-hmm. And I love games where Phil and I are just pitted against each other. It's just a battle to see who is the wisest.
Wow.
I do like it. I've enjoyed every time that I play it, and I don't think that it would get old that quickly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that's on her list. Well, okay, my number 5 is actually going to be Lords of Vegas. So I think that's a great negotiation type game. There's so many trading going on, and I love those types of games, so I definitely felt like I needed to include at least one of them into my 5 game collection. Mm-hmm. And out of all of them, I mean, there's Catan, there's Lords of Vegas, Chinatown. And I think I went with Lords of Vegas because I kind of like the added gambling aspect to it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my pick for number 5, Lords of Vegas.
Nice.
It's a great negotiation game. A little bit hard to find, but if you can find it, it's a great pickup. All right, so our number 4 pick, my number 4 pick is Space. Oh man, looking at her smile like this, it feels like she's got all the games that I chose. Oh man, anyways, Space is just, I How do I describe it?
It's kind of like tableau building, engine building,
yeah,
dice chucking game. It's like Machi Koro, but better.
So I've always kind of liked the gameplay of Machi Koro. When I first played it, I fell in love with it. But there were definitely some gameplay issues that I had with it. And then I went to a local game store once, and they were telling me about Space Base and telling me how, you know, it basically was like a love letter to Machi Koro. The makers of the game loved Machi Koro so much that they created like their version of it. And I picked it up immediately, and then I tried it, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah, it's one of those classic games where you're always doing something even when it's not your turn. And so it's super engaging for everyone at the table. And it's definitely a great game for sure.
And I love rolling dice. And even though it's only like 2 dice, but you still get to do some really cool things with them. It's fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of rolling dice, my number 4. My number 4 game is going to be Dice Throne Season 2 Battle Chess.
Yep.
Yes, I know that we kind of said, you know, no expansions, but I consider Battle Chess a whole game. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that Battle Chess is a whole game. I don't think, like, each 2-player box was really, like, a part of the game. So, kind of like with Season 1, they came with all 6 characters. So I think, you know, having a Season 2 Battle Chess, that's like one base game.
Yeah. So Dice Throne, we like to call it Battle Yahtzee. And it's super epic because each of the characters plays super differently. They have their own, you know, little nuances to them. So it's really fun to learn how each of them play and to kind of pin them up against each other. And we just have really good memories of playing it like on our bed late at night on
we
like
just
a
had
little...
this like foam core.
Yeah,
and
like a little poster board.
On top of it.
And like trying to like whisper because we don't want to wake our roommates up. And it's always a blast whenever we play it. So definitely love Dice Throne. I could play that all the day.
I mean, if you love Yahtzee, then you're gonna love Dice Throne. So,
and even though it's a lot of dice rolling, there are a lot of like cards. There's a lot of dice mitigation. So even though you roll pretty badly, you still have opportunity to try and change your roll, which I think is super important.
It's really cool. Check it out. They also just released a Dice Throne Adventures. So if you want to check that out,
I want to check that out.
Yeah, it's like a campaign where you fight against like a map or something with your characters, and I think it's really cool.
All right, so my number 3 game is going to be Calico. You knew that was going to be in there.
I mean, I knew she was going to put a cat game in there, and I think Calico was the one.
Yeah, listen, Calico, tile lane, cute cats, awesome solo mode for I don't want to bother anyone, and I think that checks all the boxes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was my first time really experimenting with playing a solo mode for a game, and it really opened up my eyes as to, maybe I do want to play some board games by myself sometimes.
Yeah. Solo gaming is always...
It's a really chill game.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
My number 3 pick is going to be Spicy.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think she knew that this was going to be in the list.
I should have, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Spicy is kind of like those games where you don't really need to be a board gamer to play. You know, it's kind of like BS in that you just have cards and then you're just kind of bluffing or calling each other out. And I think it's a great fun game and everyone can get into it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it also has some special cards to it too that you could use to spice the game up if you want to, which I didn't even realize until the last time we played. So super accessible game for anyone to play. The art is amazing and there's extra things that you could do if you want to play a more complicated game, which I think is super cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great pick. And it's just in a small box too, so you can like take it anywhere and just play a real quick game. It's awesome. Yeah. So my pick was Spicy.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 2 pick is going to be Robinson Crusoe.
Holy sh...
Yeah. Yeah, Robinson Crusoe. Ooh. So this game is going to be in my collection because it is a co-op game. Okay, it's a co-op game which I felt like I needed to include at least one, And there's a great solo mode for it. So it's also one where if, no one wants to play with me, that's still like an amazing campaign game where I can play by myself. And it's actually a really difficult game.
Yeah, Robinson Crusoe is like an epic exploration game. Is that how you would describe it?
Yes.
Epic exploration and also narrative based as well.
Narrative and also survival, because
yeah.
it's a really hard game. Like you will die constantly and it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun to die.
It's honestly a great game. And there's so many scenarios. I believe they actually or just finished a Kickstarter that has everything. It's like a collector's edition, and
or it's not a Kickstarter.
I've been wanting to GameFound.
They're crowdfunding it. Dang, you want to back it or something? You've
do.
been talking about Robinson Crusoe a lot.
I do.
Lately.
It has so many cool miniatures and a modular camp. Oh man.
And there's a lot to do,
really
so
cool.
It doesn't really feel like there's any opportunity for quarterbacking. Because I feel like we can each do our own like separate thing, and it's really nice.
Yep. And there's honestly, the base game itself already has, I think, like 8 scenarios, maybe more. And with like a scenario add-on book, it adds like 50. And all 50 of the scenarios are different.
I didn't
so
know
it's
that.
like
And you're not going to beat every scenario on your first try, and maybe even second try. So it's not like you're going to play this game 8 times and it be over with. No.
So, my number 2 pick, Robinson Crusoe.
Nice. So my number 2 pick is going to be Scythe.
Oh. Right.
Did you know that was going to be on there?
I don't think I put it on my list, but
Scythe is actually my favorite game of all time.
Woo!
It is my number 1 game. I feel like it's constantly been on the top of all of my lists that I've ever done.
Wow.
I feel like engine building is my favorite game mechanic, and I feel like Scythe is truly the engine building game. It's such a slow burn.
Interesting.
And I feel like I always have fun in that game, even when I don't win. And because I just enjoy the process of getting my engine to go ahead and work. And I think it could be fun for me at either 2 players or 5 players, because I'm just in my corner chugging my engine along.
Wow.
Yeah. Scythe number 2.
Scythe number 2. Really cool.
All right. So should we talk about our number 1 pick?
Not quite yet. I would actually like to do this little honorable mention right before our number 1 pick. So this honorable mention is going to be a game where we can include every single expansion.
Every expansion. There are no rules.
No rules.
Any game.
Any game. You just want it in your collection. What game would that be?
Okay, I guess I will go first. So it was kind of hard for me to pick an honorable mention because I feel like there are not a lot of games that I play that I would need the expansions for, if that makes sense. I feel like there's a lot of games that we have that the base games are really great, and I feel like I've been playing it with the expansions too much and I've been kind of getting tired of them. Anyway, I digress. So the game that I chose is Terraforming Mars.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
okay.
Terraforming Mars, and you have to put Prelude in there because you got to get the beginning going.
Wow.
And I do like the expansion with the Hellas and the Elysium map because I feel like it just adds a whole different, obviously map for you to work on and different objectives and stuff, and that really spices the game up.
That's an interesting choice.
And I do really like Terraforming Mars. I like it so much that I've played that game 10 times in person on like a board game table and lost all 10. And I don't even know how many times I played that on Steam and also lost that.
I'm the champion of that game.
Yeah, I'm so bad at that game, but I love it so much.
I have like a 90% win weight.
Okay.
Win weight on that game.
Win weight? I got a 0% win rate.
And it's crazy because she picked that game and she doesn't even have... We don't have all the expansions.
But you haven't tried
There's
a lot
still
of
like
the
2
other.
or 3 that are out there that we don't even have.
Yeah,
so
more opportunity for more fun stuff.
I'm probably have to pick up some Terraforming Mars expansions now.
All right. What was your honorable mention?
So this pick was literally why I wanted to have an honorable mention in here. Is just because I wanted to put this game in there. It's Netrunner. Android Netrunner specifically. This game just has the theme is just oozing out of this game. You're like in a cyberpunk world trying to hack into these these multi-money corporations, and and you're just trying to steal these agendas, and some of them are trying to kill you, some of them are trying to, you know, just make androids, and
it's a great game. He used to play it competitively too, which is crazy. He did teach it to me, and I do really like it. It's just truly a strategic game at its core.
Yeah.
And it's just tough for me to get those kinds of games sometimes.
It's a very free-form game. Like, you can do any of these actions, you know, and you just have to do what you want. You know, there's no, I mean, there is a general strategy, but it's all up to you to figure out how you're going to do all these hacking. And when you play as the corp, so this game is actually asymmetric, so the two players aren't actually playing the same kind of game. And I just love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, our number one pick. Shall I start?
You start.
My number one pick is going to be War Chest. She was probably thinking War of the Ring. I went with War Chest.
Nice.
So War Chest is very chess-like. It's very strategic in that you have like a little battlefield and you're trying to conquer each other's areas. And I can just imagine myself, you know how people just are outside in the park and they're just playing
sitting
chess?
at like those like tiny cafe tables, you know, little old guys just hunched over with their hats. Think like the end of X-Men with Magneto and Professor Xavier. That's what we're thinking about right now.
And the end of Queen's Gambit as well. So it's like that, and I can just imagine like having a little table set up just by the window. And just
sipping some coffee,
just playing a game of War Chess, just having it there on display, just on the table.
So my number one game is actually War Chess as well.
Yes!
It is such a great game. So the base game comes with, I believe, 20 different units, and each of the units plays differently. And so I think one of the fun things about that game is seeing the different synergies when you have different teams of units. Because each game you have a team of 4, and some games we like to randomize it, some games do like a little draft variant, and it's just super fun seeing the ways that the different units interact with each other. And I think in that sense, it has so much variability and replayability to it.
It's a great game.
It really is. I think it's probably one of my favorite games to play together. Yeah.
So that was our 5 games.
Yeah, so if y'all remember in the beginning of the video, we were talking about how we did guess on the side as to what each other's list would be. So we just want to go over that now.
Yeah.
So do you want to go first?
Sure. So out of the 5 that I thought that you would pick, I chose Dice Thrones. I got Jaipur down. So I thought she would pick Jaipur.
That is a good one.
She didn't pick Jaipur. I have Calico.
Yeah, of course.
I got War Chest. And my last one was Wingspan. I thought she would have picked Wingspan over Scythe, but I guess...
Yeah, I feel like Wingspan has died a lot down for me since I first played it. When I first played it, I was obsessed with that game. I was so in love with it. And I don't know, just over time, it just kind of fell a little bit off for me.
Yeah.
But I do still love it. It's a great game, but I do prefer Scythe now over Wingspan.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so for...
So how many did I get? I got 3 out of the 5 for your choices?
Dice Throne, Calico...
And
War Chest, yeah. So you got 3 out of the 5, which is pretty good. And the one that surprised you most was probably War of the Ring.
War of the Ring. I was not expecting her to put that onto the list. I actually was considering putting that one on my list. But, you know, now that I know that she's going to take it, I don't have to put it in my 5-game collection. Because then I can just take hers.
Nice. All right, so for your top 5, I guessed War of the Ring, which did not make it in, which surprised me. Why didn't you put that in?
You know, I thought it was just too heavy of a game and it would be hard to like consistently get it out. You know, if we have a lot of games, then, you know, it's easier to have that type of game where we can just play it maybe once or twice, like
a month.
Not a month, or like
every
half a year. We've been playing it a lot, but sometimes you can't play such a heavy game really often. And so that kind of game feels like it could be like a once or twice every half a year kind of thing, if you're lucky. But luckily for me, we can play it a lot, so.
All right, so War of the Ring, and number 2 was Exceed Fighting System.
Ooh.
Yeah. I feel like
Exceed
because
is
of
good.
all the different characters, it has a lot of variability and replayability. Yeah.
Nice.
That even crossed your mind when you were making your list?
I did think about it, but I feel like I'm
You know
not
what?
sure.
I did not put War Chest in
Ooh.
my guess for you, so I
Yeah.
think Exceed Fighting System was the one that I put in lieu of War Chest. I don't know why. I think I just wasn't thinking that our lists were going to be that similar. But
I did want a 1v1 game, so like War Chest was my 1v1 game.
even though it technically can go up to 4, but I don't think we
Yeah.
would ever play it with 4 players.
Yeah.
Number 3, Robinson Crusoe. I did get that one.
She got it.
Yeah, I knew, because you've been talking about it a lot.
What?
And I knew,
Oh,
I feel like I
spoiled
knew
it.
that you had to put a
co-op?
co-op game in there. And so
Yep.
I was between this and Jaws of the Lion.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It did cross my mind to put Gloomhaven in there because it's so much game, but like, ugh, it'd be hard to get to the table.
Yeah, I think maybe you talking about Robinson Crusoe a lot lately
Dang.
threw it for me.
I like inceptioned into it.
Next, I put Lords of Vegas. So I did get that. Yeah, I feel like it. I knew that you were going to go more the diversity route for
Wow.
your list. Me was my list. I was just thinking about games that I wanted to play, and I didn't really think about playing with anyone else other than Phil. So he kind of had the general population more in mind when he made his list. But yeah, I knew Lords of Vegas because it has that negotiation, that luck, that gambling component that not a lot of games have, and I think it does it the best.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I did put Space Base.
Are you
I
telling
know
me you got 4 out of the 5 games?
No, I actually only got 3 out of 5 because I
Oh.
put War of the Ring and Exceed.
Oh,
on here.
right. Exceed. Okay.
But I feel like those were a good
Ooh.
3 out of 5 to get. Like it surprised me when I was correct.
So we both got 3 out of the 5. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty impressive.
Hey, nice.
Gotta get both of them.
Yeah. All right, and that is what our 5 game collection would be.
Let us know what your 5 game collection will be down in the comments below.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.